Hi, I'm Teresa Garcia, also known as Amehana Ishtari or Amehana Arashi, and today I am recording book reviews. They're all lumped together because they're all related. As you can see, today I am not using Face Rig, but I am using an avatar of mine within Second Life. I will eventually get my Face Rig avatar to look closer to this. So without further ado, the first book review is The 13th Hour by Joshua Blum. Now, Joshua Blum approached me after discovering my review of The Last Unicorn, asking me if I would copy on my own this time because I currently had enough spare change to do so. I was pleasantly surprised and very grateful when he sent me a copy. I had just finished finalizing my thoughts on the Golem and settled down with my review and not able to sit up for long and not with it enough to do any significant writing of one's own. I was all set and ready for a good fantasy. This one did not disappoint. It is very firmly in the realm of high fantasy in a definite fairy tale world. You've got your elves, a spoiled brat of a king, a couple orphans. The story is really about Logan, an orphan drafted into the army from a rural village, who gets picked by a wizard out of all the other recruits to become an Imperial Ranger. Mission: find the secret of eternal life by visiting all four corners of the world to find the directions. The quest follows the elemental reel through the four physical elements and then into the element of spirit, in this case, dream. And several points, therefore, are very well managed. Each character we meet is well-rounded. There's no cardboard characters. Some are a little bit stranger than the others, but you get a good feel of life continuing as the limelight passes on. The villain was also very well done, and, like much of life, was more properly gray than black or evil. The tale also deals with such esoteric subjects as redemption and reconciliation, as well as the true nature of eternal life. It's not coffee, but I definitely got a good laugh over the potion. This book also has some beautifully written poetry in it. It reminded me a bit of The Last Unicorn in that respect, as that too included song and poetry. There is also a book that's meta. As the final notes of the author indicate, there is also the possibility of another book, and I hope to see this book of mysteries make another appearance in that book. I'll be hoping for a continuation, and we'll definitely be reading this story again at a later date. A bit of a critical review does have to come up. I did see a few typos through the book. They're easy to have happen, and I'm not complaining about them. They didn't throw me off, and shouldn't throw another reader off. I know there are readers and reviewers that do turn up their noses at typos, especially if you're not published by one of the big six. But typos happen in every book. I've never come across a typo-free book ever, including by the big six. The typos did not knock my esteem for the book down. When I have energy for it, I'll reread and make an attempt to tell him where the typos are that I found. I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I probably won't be able to catch them all. That's why we have multiple sets of eyes looking over books whenever possible. Definitely not enough of these to put it in the discard pile. Now, a bit on the formatting, which I found interesting. I liked how the different colors and styles of texts were used to help the reader differentiate when points of view were switched and when things were internal action. I thought it was very well handled, and it's not something that I see very often. I hope it doesn't throw anyone off or make them think there's something odd with the formatting, especially as at the beginning it shows the reader exactly what each typeset is for. If anyone gets confused or complains, that's why you're supposed to read the front matter, people, and the end matter. It's not there just to look pretty. It's got a purpose. Use shortcuts, and you do a disservice to yourself. Now, I'd give this book a 4.5 out of 5 regarding the technical issues, and a solid 5 when speaking completely about enjoyability. In the back matter, I discovered that there were some other stories, so I went and I got them. The first is A Shadow in the Moonlight, a 13th Hour Prequel, also by Joshua Blum. Now, I greatly enjoyed the little prologue. I always love getting glimpses of the world before and after, the main story. This one was a love story that didn't make me gag. I'm not sure if it was because of the style, if the love wasn't as much of the focus as was the predicament itself, or what. I could read this to my boy without him running away going, ew. I thought it was very well played. I also have to give props for the way the spell was broken. I was expecting it to be done with a kiss, like, most other fairy tales. But it wasn't. The way this was written had me rooting for a kiss, though, which is rare. The solution was a brilliant one, and I'd never seen it before in any of the fantasy books I've ever read. I'd like to tell you what it is, but, you really need to read it for yourself, because I don't want to spoil it for you. I like the epilogue story and the book. This one's going to be reread a few times, because it's just that enjoyable. And this brings us to Falling Leaves Don't Weep, which is a 13th hour epilogue. And again, I found out about this one after reading the main story. I was glad that I was told about it in the back matter, because it made looking for all the stories a whole lot easier. And I read this one after I read the prologue. I greatly enjoyed looking into the mind of the king after the ending of the book that he had played a key role in. It was interesting to see how he had matured, and extremely gratifying to know that even after their death, the wizards kept in touch with him. I also got a kick out of who turned out to end up as his queen. I thought that was really nice. Actually, I hadn't really expected it. So I think it's a good story and would be a great short stories to read in schools for various reasons and the discussions it would spark. Now, there's another story that is related to this. I can't remember the title right now, but I recently read that too, and it was a cute little bedtime story. Come on, Kindle, boot up. Boot up, Kindle. Need the title. Your Star Will Glow Forever. That's the story. That was 99 cents. It's got pictures and it's got words, and it'd be great to share with your kids. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to hop off.